Hey, you guys! Welcome to the Cerebral Palsy and Fitness podcast. We're in the live edition, and for the very first episode of this era, we bring back Tino. Tino's time. What's going
What's
on,
up?
Tino?
Hey, man. Well, thank you for having
Let's
me on
start.
the first live stream. I was just telling you, I'm like the perfect person to be on a live stream with, especially your first one, since I'm live all the time and I can help you get those nerves out. Because I'll tell you what, I remember going live for my first one. I went live. I remember my first live stream was WrestleMania in Dallas when it was the 2 night event.
Oh man,
And I remember just being so nervous and sitting there and not knowing what I'm doing. And I look back at it now and I'm just like, oh my God, this was awful. But then I look
right?
now and I'm just like, it's so much better. So just know that it gets easier. And as they go and then the people come in the conversation, it takes time, but it's worth it eventually. So
So if you guys don't know, Tino actually does his own live streams on YouTube. He covers the MLB, WWE, AEW, and any kind of gaming that's out there. So, and he's been doing this for a couple years now, right, Tino?
yeah, I started my podcast. I started Tino's Time back in 20. I think it was like the summer of 2019. Like I kind of started thinking about it, and then I started like my first like show and everything was the summer of 2020. I started with baseball and football. So I did like the baseball season and the football season, and in the middle of the football season, I started getting a lot of people like, you know, all this stuff about wrestling. Why don't you start talking about wrestling? And so I started talking about wrestling, and then that's when it kind of took off. And I think I was on your show last time I was on the show. I think I just started doing like the live streams consistently as I do all the time now.
Right. I remember.
But but yeah, I mean, so yeah.
Yeah, for you it was something to really bring about your passion. I remember at the beginning we talked a little bit about, how you got into wrestling, how you got into baseball, all these kinds of sports. And then you also shared with me that you met the Hardys at one point too, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so yeah,
And
okay, so
you've
that
been
was
pretty friends.
yeah, okay. I was trying to figure it out. I didn't know if that was I was just about to mention that. So I didn't know if I came on before or after that. So that's kind of helpful to like remember when I came on. I couldn't find the date. It just said a year. I was like, okay. But I think it's almost 2 years now at this point.
Yeah, time flies, man.
It
Right?
it, it, it
It's
really does. So
and speaking about time,
time.
the wrestling the basically the landscape of the wrestling business, it's a great time to be a fan, isn't it?
Yes, it is, right, man. It really is. And I'm actually going to Survivor Series in Chicago in 2 weeks, 3 weeks from tonight, actually. And Crown Jewel was literally 3 hours ago, and they announced that we're getting War Games back. And I went to the Survivor Series back in 2019 before the pandemic with War Games and NXT and everything. So it's just going to be so cool to be 4 years later at the same event in the same place with better seats and everything else like that. So it's fun to be a wrestling fan. And it's like, I try not to argue with the people at the AEW and WWE. It's like, just enjoy the wrestling and be quiet.
Right.
Like, I get it. I
Enjoy
get they
it.
want to argue. I get it makes people entertained.
Huh?
I get it makes it fun and everything. But there's no reason to start threatening people or telling people that you're a bad person because you like WWE or you like AEW. Like, who cares? Like, I like the fact I get to see Edge, Adam Copeland on Wednesdays, and I still can see Roman on Friday. I
Right.
see Seth on Monday. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things we
Exactly.
still see. I always say, as long as we see them, and it sucks to see these guys go out there and do it sometimes. Like seeing the Big Show last week, not being able to walk, Paul White, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call him, however you want to
he
refer to
barely.
him as. Like, he's going out there and he's wrestling, but it's just like guys like that. It's like kind of weird to see after all these years, and it kind of sucks to see them not be able to move the way they do. But it's also, and I don't even want to get started on Ric Flair because we'll be here forever. So, well, yeah, it's fun to be a
Hey,
wrestling
it's
fan, yeah.
yeah, for real. I mean, if you think about AEW is essentially WCW 2.0.
Pretty
I gotta
much.
say it because they essentially have the core group of wrestlers that were in WCW minus Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and X-Pac. Think about it.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong there. And
Right?
like I said, it's one of those things that it's like people can like, again, you like what you like. If you like the old style wrestling, watch AEW. If you like, watch both. I just watch both. I don't really care. I just I got better things to do than argue with people about wrestling or sports.
And then I see the chats moving along. So Charity, how you doing? Good to hear
we
from
got
you.
Charity in now.
Yeah, man.
What's up, Charity? I did just share it on my
It's been-
community page, so let's see if we get anybody from my show in here.
Yeah, it'd be great, man. The more the merrier.
Yeah,
it's always exciting. So how did you? When was that one day that you thought, man, I want to put everything I have into live streaming? And how do you plan out the live streams? Like, how can you push out like content like consistently?
So it's funny that you say that. So I actually, the biggest thing with the live streams is because I didn't do the live streams at first. And I always said when I wanted to do my podcast, I always said I wanted to do it when I had the most time, I can be consistent. I know I'm not going to stop and start because those podcasters that stop and start and people just don't, because they know that they're not going to come back, or they know, so I was like, right. I don't want to start it until I can actually be consistent. And as we talked about on the last episode, there was a few things I went through before I started the podcast and everything else like that. So it just wasn't a good time. And it's one of those things that, I always thought about. I was like, well, and at one point I'm sitting there, I forgot what show I was watching. It was probably a Raw or SmackDown. I'm like, well, I'm sitting here watching the shows anyway. Why don't I try to go live for him and see what happens? And so after I went live and I went live, as I said, for that WrestleMania, I took a week off fully of the live streams because I wanted to see how people reacted to it and everything. And people really seemed to like it and they really enjoyed it. So I started with Raw and SmackDown. And then people were like, well, why don't you do AEW? So then I started doing AEW. And then people were like, well, why don't you start doing NXT? So then it became, well, guys, I'm live every day. Come and hang out Monday through Friday. We got Raw, we got NXT, we got Dynamite, we got SmackDown, and everything else like that. But as time has went on and everything else like that, like I've added the gaming, I've added other things. So recently I just changed my schedule where I took away Dynamite and NXT until February, just for the rest of the football season, because I do football, I do baseball and stuff, and I wanted to add a few things like Thursday night football. I'm doing the My GM series live on Wednesdays instead of going live for Dynamite. So I'm just trying a few things. But at the time, it was one of those things. I'm like, why don't I just try to go live? And I'm live. I've been live. I think I've missed maybe like a handful, like here and there. I've never really missed like a full week or anything. There's been like a SmackDown and an NXT, a Dynamite, but I've missed only a few. And when people come and hang out, we talk, we hang out, we watch the show. And there's been times where it's been very slow, but there's been times where like last year's Crown Jewel, I had about like 10,000 views. So it's there.
Wow. That's incredible.
Today I didn't do very well. I didn't do as good as I thought I would do, but it's still one of those things that it just, you still have people come in. You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know. You know what I mean? And I've realized the best thing about doing the lives is you can interact with people like Charity or people that if anybody comes in from my live streams, it's stuff that you can't do on videos because you're not reacting to them live. So like people have made fun of me about watching like the Bears game with me live because I'm a dramatic mess and I'm a disaster because the Bears are a disaster. So it's just stuff like that where it's just like, and you asked about planning them. The biggest thing about the hardest thing, honestly, about all of it is just setting up the streams and making sure I have every single one set up because there's days where like I have like a double header and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to set up this live stream. So it's every Sunday I try to sit down, I make my schedule. I have to make the thumbnails. I have to upload because now that I'm monetized, because last time I was on here, I wasn't monetized either. So we are monetized.
Right, you just started.
Yeah, so I got monetized in May. So ever since May, I've been monetized.
Congratulations.
And so it's just one of those things that And that's the thing. Like people ask, like, I don't understand why you go live all the time. I'm like, well, I'm continuously putting stuff out there. Like, well, I don't understand how you grow so much. How do you get to 1,000 subscribers? I'm like, well, I take in this is to answer another one of your questions, and I'll go back to how I plan it. How I make so much content is I do like the video games, and then like the matches that we do, I'll take those matches and I'll put them in as separate videos. Because if people don't want to watch the full 3-hour live stream of us playing the games, they can just go pick one of their favorite matches that they liked. Right. So it's instead of a 3-hour video, it's like a 9-minute video. But people like coming and hanging out live. Like I have a few people that come and hang out the whole streams. So it's good for that. And I like playing the video games because I'm doing it anyway. I that's what I do in my room. I sit there, I play video games, I watch sports. So why not go live, play video games and watch sports? And now that we're monetized, we make a few dollars and it's fun. I meet a few people. I've met a couple people that I never thought I'd actually meet. I've had a few interactions with people. Like, yeah, so it's just one of those things. And like I said, planning I feel like there's really not too much to go into like the planning with the live streams. It's more of just having all the information. Like with me, it's like having the match card, having the matches in the live stream so I don't have to write them in while the matches are starting. Having, the ticker ready, the thing on the below where it says go follow Tino's time. And every episode, I'm like, go follow all the social medias on the ticker below. So it's more or less harder than that. And it's more than less hoping too also that the shows are good, because there's sometimes, especially when like football's not on, that Raw kind of drags because it's a 3-hour show. It's long, stuff like that. So football definitely helps with that, but yeah, and I enjoy it. Like I said, I do it and I'm watching it anyway. So why not just go live and hang out with people? So yeah, so long-winded.
You're good, man. You're good. I mean, do you feel like by doing these live streams, it's helped build your self-confidence as far as I remember the first episode we spoke about.
Yeah, I mean, even talking on here now, like, even like me and you, like talking on here, like I was listening to the last one that we did because I was just curious. And I was just like, like there's even just like you too, like having like you having the background too, me having the background, stuff like how big your channel has grown since that time. It's just one of those things that's just crazy how like it really hasn't been that long and how fast something can really grow if you put the time into it. And that's the thing, like, this is what I do. This is what, like there were people, somebody made a comment to me. They're like, well, this isn't a job. You don't have to do it. And it's like, well, if you want to take it as serious, if you wanted to, then yes, it is a job. You have to take it as serious as a job. If you want to do something, like there was one game, for the football. I got up at 6:30. I went live at 8:30 for one of the London games. I hit 1.5 thousand views and people were like, oh my God, I don't understand. It's like, well, I got up at 6:30. I got up to watch the game. Like there's just times you got to do things that maybe you don't want to do, but in the end, it will benefit you in the long run. So it's one of those things that I didn't really want to get up at 6 o'clock, but I knew I had to and I wanted to because I knew it would be fun. And it turned into a successful live stream. So it's just one of those things you got to have the determination. You got to be wanting to do it. And you got to actually put the effort into it. It takes me a long time to make those thumbnails. It's not just easy to like 1, 2, 3. It takes me about like 2 hours a week to make those thumbnails. And I usually make them while I watch like Sunday Night Football. If I'm not live,
that is
tomorrow I'll be.
That is pure commitment right there. Just putting in the work, the passion. For you, what I've been saying,
if people were curious, yes, my voice does hurt. Like I haven't lost my voice yet, but like yes, it does hurt sometimes because I am live a lot. Like after I'm done here, I got to go live and play Madden for a couple hours. So come and hang out.
That is pure dedication, And
we're doing a triple header today, David. We went live earlier. We're here now. We'll be live tonight. I should just do a late night one. Yeah. You guys want to go live at 1 a.m. too? Late night with Tino time?
Right. Hey, if you guys want to go check out Tino, check out his channel. He's doing some incredible work. Always. It's commendable.
Yeah.
For you doing this as long as you have, is this something you want to do like full time. You want to
Yeah, well,
focus just
that's
purely on
always
this.
been my goal. Like I've been talking about this since I was like in 8th grade, like freshman year of high school. Like I was telling my teachers I was going to school for broadcasting. Like this is something that I've been wanting to do for like ever. And I went to school for broadcasting. Like we talked about on last episode, I went to the Illinois Media School, and that's what I wanted to do. It was just at the time I went, I just was not in a good place. I didn't have my money kind of situated. I didn't have a job. I didn't have like, stuff like that. So like, it's like me being able to be in a
Right.
better place now. I'm using all the stuff I remember to do what I'm doing now. And there's people that I went to school with that aren't doing anything. And it's like those were the ones that were making comments to me about how I wasn't doing this, I wasn't doing that. And it's like, well, look at me
Right.
now. So it's just like one of those things that it just like, yeah. And it just, honestly, the more people doubt me, the more I seem to do and the more successful I seem to become. So I've just let the
That's
people
how
just
it is.
continue to doubt me, because every time I do something to prove them wrong,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like I
Yeah.
feed off, not even feed off of it, but it just like it gives me the motivation that I need to realize, like, and then the numbers add up, and it's like, well, I'm doing something right if I'm getting views of 1.3K, if I'm getting, shorts and I'm getting views and subscribers, and so I'm getting acknowledged by wrestlers or sports athletes, like the Southside Boys, my baseball show. We were just mentioned on the White Sox Talk podcast. Like they did like a whole
That is
segment pretty
awesome.
much. So it's one of those things like you never know who's listening. Like somebody right now could be sitting here listening to me and you, and they might like something, and you or I get a phone call, and then they, that's what I always say. That's why I kind of like doing so many lives, because you never know who will pop in. You never know who's scrolling through YouTube. I'm sure again, all these people are just like you and I. I'm sure they sit there and scroll through YouTube like we do at midnight, 1 o'clock. Like they're nothing different.
Yes,
They
we
just
do,
got a
man.
little bit more talent, you know?
Right, right. And
So,
and
yeah.
like, it's all about not just who you know, but what you know. And you've used your
Exactly.
knowledge to an advantage. And the fact that you're not letting people uh deter you from your goal, you're letting your actions do the talking versus,
Yeah.
lashing out at them and getting on their level.
Oh, trust me, I've wanted to too. There's been a few times I've had people make comments and it's just like, you're not nice. But then I realize it's like, well, they're just mad. And it's like, why are you mad? It's like, well, why don't you just be like, like people don't realize, like the people that are very successful, like the Logan Pauls, the Mr. Beast, the guys that are very good and very many, many millions of subscribers, like the wrestler, Austin Creed, up, down, down. They all have a team behind them. So it's like, if we all work together, we could all be successful, but nobody wants to help each other. They all just want to be successful for their own. And it's like, imagine if everybody put their talents together and everybody was like working with each other. We're like, I helped you with the live. If you knew how to edit, you could help me edit it. You know what I mean? And it's like, nobody wants to do that. Everybody's just like, oh, well, I can't do that because this. And it's just like, well, and it's like, we ain't going to go nowhere. There's too many podcasts out there. Now everybody's doing a podcast, So.
Right. Not only that, but like you said, a lot of people are doing this for their own benefit versus coming together, collaborating, sharing content, doing things like that. And speaking about connecting and sharing, I want to connect you. If you're listening to this,
Who we
Tino
connected
is
with?
your guide. Duke loves
Who's
wrestling. I
Duke?
gotta connect you with him.
Hey, what's up, Duke?
He's a buddy of mine that I met a few months ago. We connected through
Oh, there you
my
go.
friend Sophia,
Hey,
who's a
send
huge
them my
wrestling
way.
fan. And then he's interviewed the some of the biggest names in the business. Melina, Low Key,
Bet.
you name it. He's interviewed them, and myself, getting into it now, and he's an incredible individual. Like, we connected, and like I've been announcing for next year, I'll be a part of the River City Wrestling Con as a media reporter. So I'll be interviewing some of the top talents in the wrestling business next year, the 2 days.
Okay. Hey, now.
So yeah,
That's,
hey, it's all about who you know, connections.
yeah. I mean, and that honestly, that's all. Yeah, and that's the thing. And like I said, you just never know. And like I talked about when me and you were when we were on here last time, we were talking about the Hardy Boys thing. Like Matt Hardy just mentioned that he knows like Tino's time. Like you never know. Matt Hardy's looking at something and he sees Tino's time. He's like, oh yeah, I met that kid in Illinois or so. You know, you never know. So you just got to always have, I try to be as entertaining as possible. It just honestly, the chat sometimes kills it because if there's nobody in the chat, I don't know what to talk about sometimes. But like if people are in and out of the chat, like it keeps me going. Like it gives me something to talk about because there's somebody new in asking questions. And it just,
Speaking about the chat, I really appreciate Charity for being on and commenting. So, keep those comments coming, everybody.
That's what
we
Charity's
appreciate
the
you.
MVP.
We're doing well.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I do. I do an MVP every episode. So Charity would be the MVP because she's chatting and everything else. Where's everybody else at?
Yeah,
I shared it on my YouTube, but on the Madden stream, I'm gonna yell at everybody, tell them all to come and watch it.
Y'all need to come on and watch this, man. Hey, man. So, speaking about the wrestling business right now, there's been speculation about Punk and where he's going next. They've been talking about TNA, and I don't think TNA will even bounce back with him on the roster if he comes back to wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know where you'd go. I personally would love to see him just show up at Survivor Series because I've never seen him live, and I've always loved CM Punk. So just seeing him return at Survivor Series would be so cool. But yeah, I don't know if he's going to go to TNA. Again, he might just be done. Like, why do people think he might go somewhere? He might be just sitting home laughing at us, like thinking that he's going to show up. Like, let's be real here. He don't care about us. Just like all the people. Just like the people on online, like the people that like it's just like again, like what are you complaining about? Like say
like the shocker of the year so far has been Edge. Everybody thought Edge was a lifer for WWE, and all of a sudden you see him pop up at Wrestle Dream, and there you go.
Man, that was crazy. When I heard that, I was like, no way.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere, but at the same time, I kind of agree with him in the fact that he didn't really have much left to do in the E. He did everything there. He accomplished everything he set to accomplish. Going to AEW is a fresh start, and the fact that he's with Christian, it opens up doors to new matches, new opponents.
Well, that's the thing. And if he wants to go there and end his career with Christian, that's going to be really cool. And that's the thing, like we were talking about earlier, like the fact that now, instead of seeing Roman on SmackDown and then seeing like 2 minutes of Edge, instead we're seeing Adam Copeland on Wednesdays. We still get Roman Reigns on Fridays, and then Mondays we got Rollins, Cody, whoever is going to come out that week. So it's one of those things that it's like we get 3 days of wrestling to see all of these guys compete. And yes, they're in different companies, but it's also cool that we get to see them go out there because they possibly could not be out there. And they're getting more TV time. And like you said, the opportunities like Adam Copeland and MJF, Adam Copeland and Adam Cole, Adam Copeland and Orange Cassidy. I mean, there's like a whole list of people that we could go and see. And that's just so cool. Just like Jade going from AEW to WWE. We've seen her at face-to-faces with Charlotte, Becky. Bailey's going to be soon, I'm sure. So it's one of those things that seeing that is so cool. And it's like, it's cool to see these people go from show to show to show where we know, like, it's like a trade. Like they, in a way, kind of traded Adam Copeland for Jade Cargill. And I find that kind of cool because it's like a baseball trade, one team to another team. So, I mean, I like it. So it works.
Yeah, it's a great way to think about.
If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. But that's just how other people feel, and people shouldn't have to like ever freak out about it. That's just other people's opinions. If you don't like it, then just don't watch it. Go watch something else. There's Peacock. Like there's a million things to watch on Peacock.
Yeah, there's I mean, I wouldn't say there's a lot. I mean, it's okay. I mean, the selection. But I mean, if you're into wrestling, definitely,
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's a great time for professional wrestling and everything that's out there. And like you said, you gotta go and enjoy it, appreciate it while it's there. Uh, this is the first. This is actually gonna be the first half of the year where we're Vinceless. Vince is no longer in control anymore. And Kari Sane just returned to during Crown Jewel.
Yeah,
That
she
was
did.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you.
I know, and that's what I always tell people. I'm like, well, if you're not expecting it, then it's a big surprise. That's why I always like to say, I'm like, don't get your expectations too high. Because if like tonight, if for like Crown Jewel, people were expecting Randy to return, The Rock, this person, that person, like you're putting your expectations too high, and then you're going to be let down. So just put your expectations low. Don't expect anything, because then if it happens, it's like, oh my God, So, yeah.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where we finally have that middle ground where we can finally enjoy what we'd like to enjoy as far as wrestling and sports in general right now. Like I gotta give a shout out to Texas for winning the World Series.
Man.
And they took out Diamondbacks.
Bro, nobody saw that coming. You told me in the beginning of the year that the Rangers would win the World Series. I told you were crazy. But that's why you just never know. I mean, look at the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks were the worst team in the playoffs, and they went to the World Series.
Yeah, it's unpredictable. You never know. You really never know in any sport.
I'm just happy that baseball season's over with. I'm so over it. Now to look forward, I guess, as much as possible.
Yeah, now we're looking at basketball season right now. College football. UCF's not doing too good this year. They're doing horrendous in the Big 12 right now, and I'm really disappointed in Coach Gus. I figured he would do better, but I guess they're blowing leads in the second half, which I've been noticing.
Man.
Dude, there's a reason why there's a halftime. Do something.
I feel like in all sports, like it's so weird. Like how like haven't you noticed like that in all sports too? How like one team's really good in the first half, they suck in the second half, or they suck in the first half, but they're great in the second half. It's like, well, what are we doing here? Is it opposite day or what's going on? Because these guys are just like, what? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Do these, just do your thing. Do these changes. And it's like now I hate to put Deion Sanders here on blast, but don't be throwing your O-line under the bus just because the team's not doing so well. We've been seeing that.
David calling out prime time.
I get, and I gotta say, he's a great individual. He does his own thing. I commend him for what he's done. He's turned the program around the first season, but don't throw your offensive line under the bus. Just be like, hey, we messed up. We messed up together.
I mean, yeah, and that's how it should be in all sports. I mean, it's just it's like sometimes it's not a dictatorship, guys. Like you see the teams that are good, it's the teams that have fun, the teams that are loose, the teams that are, and it's just like these other guys are just a disaster. It's so sad to watch sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm really worried about Belichick right now. There's rumblings of Robert Kraft eventually letting him go.
I mean, at the end of the season, it might be time. If Mac Jones don't do good tomorrow, I think it's time.
Yeah, mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese going spoiled. Mac and cheese going spoiled.
He said mac and cheese. That's great.
Yep, that's what
I love it.
Yep, dude.
You love
doing the gritty on the side of the end zone. Now he'll be doing the gritty to the free agency after this season, probably.
You said you're going to be doing the gritty to the free agency. So that's something you got to clip.
I mean, that's what it looks like right now. He's not doing too hot.
No.
Yeah, I mean that
was good.
and I'm glad that the Dolphins are in the top of the division. I mean,
Well,
they've earned it. They've been playing.
so what do you think is going to go down for that game tomorrow? What do you think the final score is for the Dolphins and Chiefs? Do you also think the Chiefs will mess up because they went also 5 days late or whatever because they didn't get there till Thursday or 4 days,
I
whatever
think
it
it'll
is?
play I think it'll play a factor. I think it'll play a factor, but knowing that Mahomes has a good he has a good receiving core, and the one thing I'm worried about is that pressure. You know, since Taylor Swift has been in the picture, the Chiefs have not been doing so good. They've been faltering.
No, they've
You
been
know,
doing good when she's there, so she needs to get her butt to Germany. Bro,
yeah, like
Travis
I
Kelsey has
mean,
averaged 109 plus yards a game when she's there, and then 49 yards when she's not. I mean,
yeah, like
that's saying
yeah,
something. The power.
yeah. I mean, and it's crazy how the amount of publicity and the amount of money that they've made and he's made just by her being there. It's incredible. Like I never knew like football and music are transcending together.
I
Man,
mean,
oh man. But I
again,
mean,
the fact that it's also week 9 is kind of crazy, and the fact it's already November is kind of crazy. Like, where the heck did 2023 go, bro?
it went by really fast.
It really did. Like, and maybe that's just because I'm busy all the time, but like, I don't know. I feel like it went by way too quick.
Yeah, it did,
So
and but it's been a good year. I mean, I wouldn't, for me, it's been ups and downs, and for everybody, it's different,
yeah,
but it's been pretty good.
I mean, for the most part,
So,
everything seems to be getting to semi back to normal, so that's good at least. Because
for you, what's next? What's next for Tino? What are in the plans for you? I know you got the podcast going. Do you want to do like your own like docu series or something like that? Who would Tino like to interview? Like when it comes to people on your podcast, high profile, like on your
I mean,
show.
honestly, the next step for me in a way is kind of just having to like kind of build a team to where like because I don't know how to do everything. Like I know how to do some things, I know how to do a lot of things, but I don't know how to do some things. So like editing, for example, is not my forte. So like if I could find somebody that knows how to edit that would be able to help me, show me things that wouldn't like rip me off or whatever, that would be phenomenal. Because it's one of those things that where I'm kind of at that point where I've done where like I know how to do what I know how to do. Or if there's people that know how to do a few extra things that I don't know how to do and they show me and they teach me, then the videos will become better. The video like there's so many other things I want to do, but I don't want to put bad quality videos out there. So I'm just doing with what I
Right.
can for right now. But once we get to a certain point, I want to get to. And I mean, having people on my podcast, I mean, I've kind of been wanting to reach out to like a few people. Obviously, I don't think I can get anybody big right now. But I mean, there's been like a few people like that are like big, like top. They seem like in the wrestling community and everything like that, like a couple podcasters and stuff like that. But I mean, like again, my dream like interviews would be like obviously the Hardy Boys, like Cena, stuff like that. But that's like a long way to think about. But again, who knows? Because how fast time goes. Shoot, I mean, snap of a finger, it will be 5 more years. So,
Hey, the
but
fact that Matt knows
I
about
just
your podcast, that's an
I
advantage.
yeah. I mean, again, I have so many goals. I'm one of those people where like we hit a milestone, like we hit 1400, 1500. I'm on to 1600. Like I'm not stopping. Like there's no like finish line. It's more of let's just keep going. Let's keep grinding. Let's keep going. And that's why I always put so much out because I'm sure somebody's going to like something. And if you don't like wrestling, maybe you like baseball. If you like baseball, maybe you like fantasy. If you like fantasy, maybe you like football. So it's just there's something for everybody. If you don't like any of that, maybe you love the gaming. So like I do the gaming, and it's just one of those things. Like there are certain games I'd like to add, but I don't know if I can, and I just don't want to get yelled at by YouTube. So it's one of those things that. So You know,
Hey
YouTube's got
man,
all
like
these rules, bro. We can't do certain things. We can't show certain things.
right,
Just like if
it's
we
got
could,
full
I'd love to
restrictions
show the
now.
video. Like people get mad. The biggest thing about live streams is people get mad at me about is because I cannot show them the actual like what we're watching. And it's like, well, they don't understand. Like we get copywritten and then YouTube
We get
yells
banned.
at us.
Yeah, we get banned for that.
So yeah, so it's one of those things that it's like I understand. And if we could, we all would, but we can't. So we got to deal with what we can, and we got to show you what we can. So don't get mad at us. Just try to watch it, and let's enjoy the show. So that's the biggest thing, because I have a lot of people coming like, show us the screen, show us the, and it's just like, well, I can't. I'm sorry. If I could, I would,
Right.
but we can't, and it's not a lot.
I'll be like, hey, pay me extra, and I'll show you off live stream.
Bro, even like Pat McAfee, he pays like he pays like $2.1 billion or $1 million or something like that, like his company does, to have all of the NFL content that they have on the show. So it's one of those things that like that costs a lot of money for them to get the rights to show that. So, you know, that's just the thing that people don't seem to understand. Oh,
it's just a random bot. We got a random bot in the house.
Oh, we got bots in the house. You get them out, bro. You gotta love the bots.
Man, oh yeah, they're always trying to get involved.
Why? Like, go away.
Yeah, man, so
for real.
Yeah, like if you got nothing to contribute, why are you on?
Exactly, bro. I say all the time.
You know?
I've gotten to the point also where I just block people now. Like I understand. Like I also give people like 3 strikes. Like 3 strikes, you're out. Get out. Like I'm not here to deal with it. Trying to watch a show, trying to have a good time. Let's talk about it and let's not start arguing about the dumbest things in the world. There's bigger things in life than arguing about because Liv Morgan lost this or because Bailey lost that or because it's just like, oh my God, just watch it. Let's see what happens.
Just stop speculating and just enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally. Yeah, so just enjoy the show.
Where can my listeners find your podcast? Like where can they listen to you, watch you?
Well, I am on all of the social medias. I'm on not Facebook. I am on YouTube every day almost. I'm pretty much live all the time. As I was telling you earlier, I got a new schedule coming out. So if you want to go subscribe to Tino's Time on YouTube, the schedule's on there, all the social media links. We got merchandise now. So go get yourself some merchandise. You can become a member of the channel. You could donate to the channel. So there's a lot of things. David, you got to go become a member, bro, and we get some merchandise.
Oh yeah, I gotta go check it out right after the live stream. I'll go check it out for sure.
So yeah, Tino's Time. If you go to the YouTube page, like I said, all the links are there. So that's probably the best way to say it, because if I show you all the links, we'll be here until Christmas. So yeah, so just go to Tino's Time on YouTube, find my logo. I'm sure you'll know exactly which one it is, because Tino's Time Wrestling. As soon as you put in Tino's Time, all my stuff shows up. It's kind of crazy. Like even when you go on Google, bro, like I went in Google, I just Googled myself, and all these videos came up. I'm like, I kind of feel special. So yeah, so just Google.
Oh yeah,
Tino's Time.
Same here with me now.
I mean, hey, big time, Dave. Next is the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, once you make it there, you made it big.
I mean, big time, right?
Everybody knows you.
They're writing about our personal lives. Hey, Tino's Time.
Just wrote that in there, just in the comments, so people can see it.
Yeah, there you go. Tino's Time on YouTube, and then Tino's Time Wrestling on Instagram. So if you just like wrestling, Tino's Time Wrestling, that's for you. But you like everything else, Tino's Time. So yeah.
Yes.
So that's where you can find
Check it out.
And people like to say, you know what time it is? It's Tino's Time. And I'm always live. So just go on YouTube, and I'm sure I'm always there. So that's always like what I like to say, because I'm always live. And as I said, I'll be live in literally 49 minutes for Madden. So come and hang out. Get ready for week 9.
And also, guys, don't get it confused. It is Tino's Time, not Tostino's Time.
Yeah, it's Tino's Time
not Tostino's.
all the time.
Yep.
That's
That's
what it
right,
is.
brother. Hey, thank you for being on, man.
Hey, thank you for having me. Definitely got to have you on for myself. You come on Tino's time for a show, whatever it is. You pick a day
Let's
whenever
do
you're
it.
available. I know you're busy guys, so yeah, we'll figure something out. But
Let's
yeah,
do it.
thanks for having me on. This was fun.
Let's do it, brother. Yeah, for next time, for sure, man.
So thank you, chat, coming and hanging out. Appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you guys for being in the chat, being wonderful, being active. And until next time, you guys. Hope you like this first episode of the live streams. There'll be a whole lot more coming. And until next time, you guys, stay safe, stay well, stay healthy. And this is Tino's time and David Cerebral Palsy, your fitness podcast, signing off. Peace out, you guys.
Peace.